I went to Tennessee for my 21st birthday trip, and boy, oh boy, do I want to talk about it. Now, I'm just going to do a rough summary of the whole trip. I won't be getting into the nitty gritty of everything, but I do want to talk about anything I found both fun and important. So pretty much the entire thing, I'm not going to lie. To preface, I was going with my family, and that includes like me, my sister, my mom, my dad. And so they're all going to be censored. You guys don't need to know what my parents look like. You don't need to know what I look like. I saw what you guys did to Dream when he did his face reveal. I'm not going to be a part of that. But basically, the trip was a week long, and we were going to go all around Tennessee, from Gatlinburg to Nashville to Memphis, then to Louisville. We had plans for each destination. We were determined to have a good vacation with no hiccups and no family emergencies. And one thing we'd noticed is that the drivers in Tennessee are absolute assholes, cutting off our car, turning without signals, being overall bad drivers. So if you're prone to the common condition of road rage, I'd recommend you prepare yourself mentally. Enough about the bad drivers and all that. The first thing we did wasn't even in Tennessee. We went on a little railroad thing in Kentucky. It was pretty fun. They gave me a free cup. I'll take a picture of that when I find it. But basically, you got on this little 4-person cart thing. You load up on it, and then you start pedaling on it to a local point. It was super fun. And when I had a top speed of about 13 miles per hour, you pretty much just talk and, look at the scenery. It was pretty cold. The wind made me all chilly and whatnot, but it was super fun. On the way back from the lookout point, a little cicada started crawling on me. I named him Chris. He started getting a little too close to my neck, so I unfortunately had to evict him from my flesh. So yeah, sorry Chris. I don't need bugs in my skin. I already have enough as is. After the cart ride, we went to the merch store. I got my aforementioned free cup because I'm God's special little boy. And then my dad also got a magnet, so that's pretty cool. Then we loaded back into the car and headed towards Gatlinburg. The one thing I didn't know that we were going to be staying 2 nights in the one, the only, Margaritaville Resort. And real ones know how huge that is. When I came across Jimmy Buffett's resort, the trip went from good to great. And now, I'm not a big drinker. However, this trip might have successfully turned me into an alcoholic, because I drank a lot on this trip. But one thing deterred me that I will get into later, but it's not important. The hotel room was one of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed at. There's one that's going to be coming up later that was the nicest, hands down. But this was up there. This was like top 5. The bathroom had one of the best showers I've ever taken. It had a pretty spacious, it was just a nice bathroom. The bedroom was your typical hotel layout. The bathroom was the real big thing. My sister made me do extra work by photobombing me, even though I gave her permission to do so. So, thanks. We got some drinks at the local Dak Shack, and I had one of their special drinks. I forgot what it was, to be honest. I also did a shot of tequila unsuccessfully, because, I hate tequila. It tastes like dog piss. I don't know why everyone pressures me into doing tequila shots. I hate tequila. Anyway, we went to the aquarium, and if you've been on the internet, you've heard stories about how cool it is to go to the aquarium high. I gotta say, going to the aquarium drunk, what an experience. Seeing big ass crabs was so cool. And I was kind of just in pure fish heaven. But I've gotta say, they had my favorite sea creature, the beloved manta ray. Oh my god, it'd be a stingray right now. A simple life. And they have the little pools where you can reach out and pet them. Oh my god, I spent 20 minutes before they had to drag me away by my feet while I was kicking and screaming. I love manta rays. They didn't have any manta ray plushes at the gift shop. I was a little bummed about that, or at least no good ones. We left the aquarium and finally went to go get something to eat. We went to this place called the Blue Moose, and I know Gatlinburg is a popular place, so if you've been and you like it, you're dead ass wrong. That place is mid. They grill their wings, which normally I like, but in this case it was terrible because you couldn't taste the sauce. They didn't sauce their wings. They put, and like I got a dry rub. I love me a good dry rub. They barely put anything on. It was like they sprinkled it. They sprinkled the dry rub on the wings. Like, look, I'm a wing snob, so I'm a little picky when it comes to wings, but these suck so bad. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not even upset. Not even a little. We ate our dinner and decided to play some mini golf at this place called Hillbilly Golf, where you ride up on a little thing to top of the mountain and basically you work your way down playing a bunch of golf. I do have to mention is that you can't really walk it down. You really have to ride this thing up and down. And there are no bathrooms up there. Yeah, I bet you can see where this is going. So we're almost done, and all of a sudden both my mother and my father had to desperately use the bathroom, so we just had to wait for the tram. It was bad. I genuinely got worried one of them would have an accident. And trust me, I'm no stranger to human waste-related mishap. A year ago, I clogged a Dollar General toilet. The good news is, we made our way down to the main entrance, and my parents were able to use the bathroom before anything bad happened. Crisis averted. With that, we headed back to the hotel. Me and my sister went to the Margaritaville bar and got a couple drinks. I didn't get a margarita. I got a Jack and Coke because I love those. My sister got a Captain and Sprite with some loaded fries. And they were very good. Very salty, and I was drinking a bunch of alcohol, so it was like this hard desert in my mouth. And it didn't help. Yeah, again, we were drinking alcohol, so it was gonna be super dry. So I pounded 2 waters and went up to bed. Not before having to piss about 4 times, though. The next day, we all got cleaned up and made our way to the Log Cabin Pancake House. That place, one of the best breakfast restaurants ever. It's some of the best breakfast I've ever had. The orange juice smelled like Fruity Pebbles. That's not important, I just thought it was funny. I got their pigs in a blanket because it sounded good. And oh my god, if you ever end up in Gatlinburg, you better go to the Log Cabin Pancake House. That will change your perspective on breakfast forever. Genuinely so good. We finished our breakfast, then went to this bird sanctuary called Parrot Mountain. Now, to preface, before we went on this trip, we tried to do some research to figure out what we do at each section of Tennessee. And when we were looking up stuff to do in Gatlinburg, this place didn't come up for some reason. I'm telling you right now, if you ever go to Gatlinburg, not only do you have to go to the Log Cabin Pancake House, but you better go to Parrot Mountain because that place is peak. It's a bird sanctuary, so there's all sorts of exotic birds, and oh my god, I love birds. I love birds more than life itself. This is one of the few places I'm gonna link below because I'm all about their cause. I'm all about them as people. This is awesome. This is like you get to see baby birds. You can hold a bunch of birds. You can get your picture taken with birds. I'll post that picture right now. Actually, look at us. We're so cute. Oh, how cringe. Just like the manta ray pool, my family had to drag me away from the birds by my feet. So we had to head back to our hotel to drop off the bags and bags of stuff we had collectively bought. We bought a lot, to be fair. To the point where I came on that trip with about $1,200, like knowing I'd probably spend it all. I left with about $100. Like we went at the end of this Tennessee trip. I left with about $100 left. But yeah, we then dropped off our stuff, like I said. Then we headed back on the strip. And I don't like to get political because I don't want this channel to just become a bunch of that stuff. But Tennessee does because we saw about 5 different Trump shops. And it was a little bit weird to walk everywhere pretty much and see one and then like half a mile later you saw another one. Like I think I counted about 5. I could be wrong, there could be more. So it gets a little cringe after a little bit because it's a little obsessive. But that's not what this is about. On the strip, we went to a cider tasting and had some of the most superb, the most flavorful, the sweetest cider I've ever had in my life. And then we proceeded to walk a little more, and then we found a little restaurant because it's summer whenever. Yeah, my birthday is in May. I'm not telling you the exact date, but it is in May. So we went on this trip in June, and it was smoldering. So yeah, we had to go into some restaurant, get some cheese curds and water, and just cool down on such a hot, humid day. So after we cooled down, we went to some place called the Ripley's Museum, which is a museum about some weird and interesting things, either deformities or weird things people have made. It was super fun. I made a Viper visor out of the big light brights they had and learned a lot about what humanity can do when they're on their freak shit. We left the museum and did some shopping before going to dinner. At this restaurant, they played live country music. I don't know if you could tell by the type of content I produce, but I do not like country music at all. And I also hate loud noises. So combine the two and you have an overstimulation station. But whatever, I got some chicken and waffles and tolerated it before we left and went back to the hotel. We went back to the hotel, ordered a couple drinks, and then proceeded to be obnoxious as fuck. So I don't really care, because we're never seeing any of those people again. So yeah, my whole family pounded a bunch of drinks. We all got fit-chased and played a bunch of Uno Dare. And we were on our cringe shit, but we were having fun. My family loves to spend time together. I love my family. And you know what? Fuck those other people that were judging us. We were having fun, damn it. We had our fun and tucked in for the night before we got hit with a little family emergency. So it's pretty safe to say that none of my family had a good night after that. My dad may have had to head back to his hometown to deal with it, but my parents were pretty much like, fuck it, we'll deal with it at the end of the week after our vacation, which was kind of a godsend, because honestly, the vacation wouldn't have been the same if either of my parents had to go. Like, it was a bad situation. Again, I'm not going to get into what happened. You guys don't deserve to know. It just happened. Smile, thumbs up. But yeah, the drama didn't really end throughout the entirety of the vacation, which kind of sucks, but again, it was nothing we could control. Things happen, life doesn't stop for everyone. So that got stacked on while we tried to do our merry things. But we did go on a cool mountain coaster. Before I got on, I took a pee, and yeah, it was pretty fun. Although you kind of have to stop a bunch, so your momentum's kind of like, you go fast for like 10 seconds and then you have to stop and slow down, which kind of sucks. And again, it's in the middle of June, you're high, you want to keep going, you want the wind in your hair and all that. But whatever. We got off and I posed for the photo. Unfortunately, can't really see what I did because I have to censor my face. I don't have to, but again, screw you guys don't deserve to see me. Yeah, sorry. With that, I peed again, and we got in our car and drove to Nashville, which was about a 3-hour drive, but I knew my dad would knock at least 30 minutes off that drive. That is, unless a certain someone didn't have to pee every 45 minutes of the drive. It's probably something I should go to the doctor for, but that's a future me problem. After a very pissy drive, we checked into probably the worst hotel we went on during this trip. It was dirty, it was hot, the AC would cut off randomly, the shower was very uncomfortable, plus my sister was sprawled out on the bed, which made it very hard to sleep, so I was not a very happy camper. But you know, whatever, it is what it is. The first day we didn't really do much, just a lot of walking around. We went to some cool mall that was but it was a very typical mall. I went to a Hot Topic to find some Glitch Productions merch, yeah! Glitch Production and Hot Topic, baby, yeah! But then they didn't have like anything, they had shirts and that's about it. We went to this restaurant that was super awesome. It was a seafood restaurant. I like seafood. And it doubled as an aquarium. So you could eat fish with fish. You could show them the corpses of their families as you it was awesome. I love fish. Yeah. Other than that, we kind of just unpacked and got ready for the next day. Speaking of the next day, we actually did a lot. So we started with the Johnny Cash Museum. Now, I used to like Johnny Cash a lot, like back in my freshman year. I kind of fell out of the bandwagon, so to speak. But my family loves Johnny Cash. And it was really cool. It was nice to see a lot of the history and stuff. And so also another thing about the Johnny Cash Museum, it's kind of small. Like, again, there's only so much you can put about one person. But my family's full of fast readers. So we kind of zoomed through that in probably like an hour. So, but otherwise, it was really fun. The Johnny Cash Museum was really close to the Honky Tonk Highway, which I thought would be a lot different than it was. I don't know why. I should have done more research. But a honky tonk is live country music bars. And yeah, live music can be a little loud. And again, I don't like loud noises that much. So, you know, put two and two together. It wasn't my favorite thing we did on the trip. I did get a Jack and Coke, which was very good. It was very small, so I finished it lightning quick. But yeah, that was, it was fine. It was fine. The Honky Tonk Highway. Then we went to this grilled cheese place called the Grilled Cheesery. It was so good. I got a milkshake and a pesto chicken tomato one. It was so good. And then we went to the mall we went to the previous day and did some game show thing. I don't know if we have any pictures or videos, but if we do, I will be sure to put them in right here. It was super fun. It was like luck games, it was aim, it was trivia, Pictionary. My mom and I were crushing my sister and my dad, but then the last mini game, they somehow filled up like 10,000 points. They got like 10,000 points at the end. We had like a 6,000 point lead, and they pulled around with 10,000 points. And it was like, that was the craziest comeback win I think I'd ever seen in my life. I was a little upset, and it kind of bruised my fragile ego. With the game show done, we entered this art museum that costed $10 to get into. It honestly wasn't that cool. Like, there was a bunch of cool art pieces, I'm not gonna lie. There was some genuinely cool paintings and like a big room with a statue. And that's about it. It took a whopping 15 minutes to look at everything, and then it was done. The building was cool. Like, the building was pretty sick. I don't remember what it's called because, hell, it's not even worth keeping real estate in my brain for. But it was next to a cute park, and we even had a duck just like hanging out next to us, walking with us. Look at this little guy. What's cooking? After that, me and my family were at a loss of stuff to do because we didn't want to go back to the honky tonks because yeah, they were loud, and it was just, it wasn't my place, and even then it wasn't close to the hotel, so we'd actually have to like Uber to and fro. And so we decided not to do that. However, there is a place called Pins. Now, if you haven't been to Pins, I don't know where all they are, but they have one in Cincinnati, which again, I'm in Ohio right now, so that's pretty freaking close. But they had one in Nashville, and the one in Nashville was about 2 miles away from our hotel. So we decided to walk our happy asses up to Pins and have a great time. Now, again, for those who don't know, Pins is full of old arcade games, pinball, like giant Jenga, bowling, and like the coolest cocktails. Like, I got one called a Hulk Hogan. I based one of the drinks I made on it. It's lemonade vodka, and they put a friggin' bomb pop in it, and I love it so much. So yeah, needless to say, I drank a lot. I had like 6 drinks, and probably like, no, I probably had a beer. I probably had 1 beer. I don't remember. It's a bit of a foggy night. But what isn't foggy is that I'm a goddamn god at Tetris, especially when I'm intoxicated. I topped the leaderboards not once, but twice when I was playing on the Sega Genesis in there. I am so good at Tetris when I'm intoxicated. It is crazy. It's not a practical skill, but I mean, it's still cool. With Pins out of the way and several drinks consumed, we stumbled somewhere called Hattie B's. And oh my god, I don't do any kind of promotion. I try not to, only the things I really, really enjoy. And if you are ever in Nashville, you gotta get yourself some Hattie B's chicken. I don't know if it's a chain, I don't know if they do it anywhere else, but that chicken, oh my god. So it's like a Thai place. There's like spice levels you can get your chicken. I got it hot because I heard the hot was like just a step below ghost pepper. I was like, oh, I am drunk. I do not want to eat something super spicy. And my father made the mistake of getting extra hot, which our waitresses was like, are you sure? It is ghost pepper. It is ghost pepper. You will burn yo ass. And he was like, yeah, it was cocky. And he couldn't even finish it all. He couldn't finish all of his chicken sandwich. It was really good. Super flavorful, super tender. Oh my god, juicy. But oh my god, it was so spicy. It was scorching. Yeah. After that, we went home and fell asleep before finally, the moment I've been wanting to talk about. The thing that made me want to make this video in the first place. Memphis was one of my favorite spots. I think I'd go Gatlinburg and then Memphis. Memphis was like such a close second. Like it was not even funny. And like most of you probably know what is in Memphis, and possibly one of the main reasons I wanted to go to Memphis. They have the Bass Pro Pyramid. I spent a night in the Bass Pro Pyramid. I can die happy. So whenever I say the word fish, I'm gonna be putting in this clip. Fish. Funny. We walked in. My dad and I went to check in. I had to go take a piss because I'm a very pissy guy. Yeah, but the bathrooms were super nice. I would take photos, but I'm pretty sure that's a crime. Thank God, honestly. So I did. But the place was awesome. I'll go into it more later just because we didn't totally explore. Because we had to wait a bit to check in, otherwise we had to pay a fee. And it's already super goddamn expensive. So we went back out. We went to this really popular street. I forgot its name, but it was awesome. And I know I've been saying I've had the best food, blank, like best breakfast, best drinks, all that stuff. But I genuinely had the best barbecue food I've ever had in my life. Like, I got ribs that genuinely melted in my mouth. The barbecue sauce tasted so good. It was amazing. They played live blues music. It was, oh my god. Oh my god. We walked around the strip a little more, and it was super cool. Again, it's not the only thing we did that day. We actually had to pack up, and then we went to a casino. Yeah, I'm a gambling man.
Wow. I can't wait to lose all my money.
Oh yeah, I'm a gambling man. It was right across the bridge. We had to cross state lines to Arkansas to gamble. And I joke about gambling quite a bit because I think it's funny, but I hated it. I hate gambling. I don't get how people can become addicts. Like, we walked in and already it was overstimulating. I pulled out about $100 expecting to lose it all. I tried a slot machine that confused me. I watched my dad play blackjack and got super intimidated. And then I went to go play poker and lost about $30 before getting super anxious and just finding my family to leave. But my smug ass dad looked at me and was like, oh yeah, I won about $300 at the blackjack tables. And I was like, how? We checked into the hotel, dropped off all of our shite, and I have to say, this place was absolutely awesome. The view from our room was amazing.
Look at all the stuff.
Like, I know this is such a gimmicky building, but ever since I first heard about it, it has been on my bucket list to do. And again, everyone should go here. It is awesome. It is so cool. We walked around the hotel's section halls and learned about the history, and it's pretty interesting. I'm not going to go over it, but if you want an in-depth video on the lore, Quite has his Horrors of the Bass Pro Pyramid video that I will link below. Yeah, I'm not going into all of it today. We walked around the actual store part. They have live ducks, fish, crocodiles, all that bullshit. The one complaint I have is that they made us wear these wristbands, and something about me is I hate having shit around my wrists. It just makes me really uncomfortable. But you know what can fix that easily? A little bit of alcohol. At the very apex of the pyramid, they have the Lookout Bar and Grill, and it's so cool. It is so good. But before we got up there, we had to take the elevator, obviously. We waited in line, But we didn't have to wait long because when you get a hotel room at the pyramid, they give you these wristbands that are basically like letting you cut in line. So you can pretty much get to the very tippy top as soon as you get in line. And the elevator took about a full minute to get to the top. But it's not super boring because they tell you about how the deal came to be and how they had to catch a catfish. And then we're called up Bass Pro. I was like, we'll do it. So yeah, I'll play some of that. Probably not going to play the whole thing. This is not about that. This is about us. This is about my family. This is about me. It's about me!
When you look down, would never have happened had it not been for one big old Mississippi River blue cat. One day, my dear friends and fishing buddies, Johnny Mars, the founder of this place, Jack Emmett and I, were not very far from this building on the Mississippi River fishing. Johnny was trying to make a major decision if he should put a Bass Pro Shop in the pyramid, and kept asking, should we do it?
But anyway, we got to the top, and we got to the bar. We started to drink, and we drank a lot, to the point where my whole family was getting a little crunk. I had one of the strongest old fashions of my life, knocked me on my ass, I stood up, I thought the whole world was spinning. I then had a lemon drop, so good, went down like juice, and it made me feel like I was astral projecting. So yeah, unfortunately, from this point forward, I didn't get many pictures or videos because I was drunk. Yeah. So me and my sister had to go get something from the car, and so we stumbled to the elevators, rode our way down, went back to our hotel room to pick something up. And then, oh my god, we went to the Fishbowl bowling alley. The Fishbowl is a bowling alley and restaurant, obviously. Come on, dude. Use context clues, man. You can dine with fish hanging above you while they watch you play bowling poorly. My dad got an IPA. I drank a lot of water because I was already a little drunk, and also I'm a lightweight, unfortunately. So, actually, not unfortunately. I don't have to spend as much on alcohol. Screw you guys. But yeah, I sucked ass at bowling. I didn't do good at all. I think I got last place the whole 3 rounds we played. It was a bit rough, but I got a really good burger, a grilled cheese, and a milkshake. I got really hungry, if you couldn't tell. After our bowling endeavors, we went back to our hotel room. We played VR for like 1 round, and then we're like, yeah, we're too tired. We're gonna go to bed. And with that, the unfortunate reality is we had to leave the pyramid. It was heartbreaking. We said our goodbyes and packed up our shit to go to Louisville. And Louisville was cool, but it was another one of those things where we stayed one night, so our time was super limited. And what didn't help is that my mom had to fly to California the next morning to do, to kind of deal with that aforementioned family emergency that I'm not going to get into. So yeah, but we did go to the Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory, in quotes, where they make most of the MLB baseball bats. It was super dope. We even got our own mini bat that I place proudly on my nerd shelf. The factory says we're not supposed to record videos, but my dad and I got a couple sneaky videos. We're not going to see these people ever again, and they will never find me. So I don't feel bad. But it was super dope. And we will go back so I can make a bat specifically for me with the $8 trillion I have lying around. Jesus Christ, it was a little bit expensive. Later that night, we tried to go to a minor league baseball game. Shout out to the Bats for getting rained out. It wasn't raining that hard. It rained hard for like 10 minutes, but then they're like, oh, we're going to postpone the game until tomorrow. Which, whatever. By the way, we walked to the baseball field, so clearly it wasn't raining too hard. Again, it rained hard for like maybe 5 minutes, and then it was done. We even walked back to our hotel. Didn't rain at all. Didn't rain at all on our walk home. I'm a little bit pissed about that, by the way. I'm a little pissed. Louisville wasn't the best part of the trip, but it wasn't really the city's fault. It was the fact that we were there for one night and really just had to do other stuff to get ready for my mom going to the airport and going to California. Yeah. it was a bit of a rocky road going to Louisville, and it really kind of sucks it had to end there. It was a really good trip. I had an amazing time. I love my family. I would absolutely go back there yearly. It sucks what happened during the trip. Again, it was no one's fault. These things just kind of happen. Like, life doesn't stop for anyone, unfortunately. But with that, yeah, I'm 21 now. I can legally drink, and I'm shocked to see how responsible I am with it. My motto really is just I only really drink when it's funny. So yeah, who cares? But I'll see you guys in a month.